Awesome.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Ha ha, ha ha. I'ma tell y'all a story about my past. Ha ha, ha ha.
All right, how's everybody doing? I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Know What I'm Saying. I am your boy Deezil Greezil, and today I got my homeboy Chris Kweli. You wanna say something to him, Chris?
What's happening, everybody? Good to be here.
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. Homie Chris, man, is a young, articulate, intelligent black man. So I'm glad to have him here, and we gonna have some fun. And as you know, you gonna get some information. I like to call it edutainment. You know what I'm saying? So if you're tuning in, you already know what to expect. You don't want to be enlightened, you can go ahead and run now. You know what I'm saying? Give you time to make it to the nearest exit. Okay, nah, it's time. You know what I'm saying? So, man, we gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff today, man. You know what I'm saying? It's 2016. You know, it was a crazy 2015. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I don't know how many black lives were lost in 2015 at the hands of black people and at the hands of the police, at the hands of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, abortion. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we are definitely an endangered species. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, I can't even say that because an endangered species is protected by the government. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the hell we are.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So what we got on the agenda today, Chris, man? What you want to talk about first, bro?
A few things. I would say one thing recently. I mean, it's a lot of current events going on that are worth discussing. One thing that I would like to get on that caught my attention a few days ago is there's a magazine, I guess, that caters to the urban community, hip hop community, young generation, Complex magazine. Yeah. And they're on the cover of, I guess, the next month's issue to come out is an artist by the name of YG. And this artist is known to claim, represent the blood gang. I believe he's from California, but that's what he's known for repping. And so on his cover, he made the cover, and one of the things, if you're familiar with gangs, at least from the Bloods and Crips, one thing that they do to kind of throw shade toward the other one is Bloods will change letters. So if a word starts with the letter C, members of the Blood gang will change it from a C to a B, and that's their way of kind of throwing shade to the Crips. And the Crips will do the same thing. They'll take words that start with the letter B and they'll switch it to a C. So
Bompton.
Yeah. and that's exactly what he did. He's on the cover. He has a cap on that would normally say Compton, from Compton, California, but the C is changed to a B, so it says Bompton. And Complex actually changed their name on the cover to Bomplex. And so I'm just scrolling through Facebook, and I see this, and a few of the people that I saw that shared it, they're all like, oh man, this is dope. This is Complex, this is the hardest cover ever, YG. And I'm like, this is childish. This is a grown man.
So was it by his request? Was it he on some shit like, unless y'all change it, I can't do it because I can't be on the magazine to start with a letter C? Was it something like that?
I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm not very familiar with him or his music, really. Like, I've heard his name before, and when I saw the cover, I did a quick little Google search just to kind of see, who he was, and that was really one of the first things that came up on it, was that he's known to be a member of the Bloods. I guess that's what he talks about in his music. So
Bomplex magazine is doing an article on YG. Have you seen the movie Dope?
Yes.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole scene with the homie that claimed he was a blood and it's certain words with the soft C he did say with the hard C he avoided. Like, I mean, you know, notice in that scene he was talking to some kids. You know what I'm saying? I guess they were around 18 years old. To me, grown men gangbanging is fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand it. But to each his own. But then it's like, when you feel like you gotta, I mean, it's funny because like when I was in high school, you know, I did a little gang banging or whatnot. I was a vice lord or whatnot. So it's funny, like, you know what I'm saying, I just turned 35, so it's almost 20 years since I've been in high school. And I see people like I went to high school with it. I used to bang against when we was kids, and niggas still be nervous and shit. I'm like, bro, are you serious, man? I'm not with my kids. You think I give a fuck? Because I mean, I still wear red. I mean, red's my favorite color. I mean, shit. I mean, that's my favorite color. It's not because I'm gang related. If anything, it's because the red, black, and green of the African flag. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy, bro. I don't get it, man. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I've had a similar experience a few years after graduating high school. So I graduated in 2004. So probably, I think it was 2008, 2009. I came back home. Me and my friends went out to eat, and one of the guys that we used to go to school with, he was a couple years older than us, but he was known as, he had a reputation, you know, and even after he graduated, we would still see him around campus at times because, of course, you know, that's kind of how you are able to, I guess, when you have insecurities and stuff, because I think that's what it comes down to with a lot of them. You know, why else would you graduate high school and then continue to come back to campus,
high
hanging
school,
out with freshmen and sophomores and stuff?
But it's hard to punk adults. It's easier to punk other kids, you know.
Because grown folks, they know the game. And we saw him at the restaurant. He came up to us. He was high, you know, and we were like, man, it's been 5 years. So like, you know, we said what's up to him, whatever. And then he left, and we just looked at each other, and you know, it had a nice chuckle. We were like, man, I can't believe it. All these years, you know, we're grown doing this, that, and the other with our lives, and he's still on that same,
it's
you
crazy,
know.
Man. I guess it's like what they say that everybody gets older, but not everybody grows up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Very, very true. You know what? Other thing they say, you know how when you was young, they say by the time you graduate high school, a certain amount of your friends, percentage of your friends, are gonna be dead or in jail. Mm-hmm. It's very, very true, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I made it up to about sophomore year before the bottom fell out. And you start seeing all type of people getting locked up, catching cases, getting football sentences. You know what I'm saying? Well, you never see them again, man. So it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and that's all the more reason why the whole YG situation really irritated me, because you know, I don't know how old he is. He's old enough. He's making the cover of this this national magazine. He's old enough, and to be in that position, especially with everything that the black community is facing right now, where the system is starting to be exposed more people are starting to see the power that the system has, and how just the propaganda is kind of on autopilot. And here he is with this huge platform that he has, and he's basically feeding poison to the younger generation and whoever it is that's looking up to him, to where, you know, we get mad when, and rightly so, when we get stereotyped in a negative way. Yeah. You know, I should be able to dress the way I want. I shouldn't have to change my wardrobe so that way I don't get treated a certain way. Right. But at the same time, if I know that this is the image, that they're using this image to paint me as a bad person, so that way they can do certain things to me or allow people to be indifferent when bad things happen to me, which we've seen with Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice, like the list goes on. And when you're aware of this, but then you get on the cover and you sit there and actually propagate what the image that they're putting out there. Like, so you're telling them, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug, be scared of me. Like,
why do you think that is? Do you think that everyone has their price and he's willing? Well, first off, do you think that they know that they're selling their people out? You know what I'm saying? Or do you think that they're just so narrow-minded, they have tunnel vision to the point that they can only see them as making it? Or You know what I'm saying?
I think it varies per the artist or per the person that's, whether it's an artist or actor, athlete, whoever it is on that type of platform.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they don't really understand the magnitude. Like even with us, like I'm sure you've had moments just growing up where you kind of get a revelation, the light bulb will go off on something, but then a few years later, the light bulb goes off again, and it's like, whoa, okay, I thought I knew it 3 years ago, but oh man, I really.
Yeah.
And I think some of them where they may realize, this isn't the best thing to be doing, but because the reward right now seems so great, which is the money, the fame, whatever access that they're getting, it kind of, to me, it's obvious that they put that higher than the image that they're putting out there.
Okay. So I guess to a certain extent, they're just selfish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is that
You can say, yeah.
crab in the barrel mind state where, they don't mind crawling on everybody else's back as long as they get out.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a form of conditioning, because even with the crab in the barrel, that's not the natural habitat, for crabs. So somebody put the crabs in the barrel to begin with. And so
That's dope. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. And
Can we criticize the crabs in the barrel for acting that way when they're in a foreign environment? And all they're doing is adapting when the only way to survive is to get out the barrel.
right. But when that, I mean, I agree with that. But then there does come a time where I guess certain crabs, or I mean, there are crabs that make it out, and I'm just using that term crab just because we're going off of this analogy of the crabs in the barrel. So there are people who make it out, people who find ways out, and some people make it out very clean. Some people, there's many artists who may have started selling drugs and they had dirty money, and over time they woke up and they've changed their path.
Something else.
Yes, and they're on a much positive path now. And so once you get to a point like that, to a point of awakening, a point of knowledge, at that point, to me, it becomes less and less okay for you to blame the bucket. Like when you realize that you're in the bucket, and not only do you realize a way out, but you have a way out. Like if you're an artist, of this level, that's your way out. Like you're not like, I mean, you're not, it's not even like us. Like we're still working, we're still doing things to try to, improve and progress, and even though they're making improvements and progress too, but they're much further along in many ways as far as being able to make decisions and have options.
Yeah.
So when you're still resulting, falling back to the same old, is like, come on, dude. Like you said, people get older, but the growing up part is not. It's not inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's not mandatory. It's optional. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, it's crazy, man. So, I mean, with that being said, niggas came out in full force in defense of Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? Which, first of all, I'm not going to get into whether or not I think the man is guilty or anything like that. However, what I am going to say is that the people that's coming out defending him, from my perspective, it's just on the strength that he black. You know what I'm saying? It's not on the strength of I know anything about his allegations. But hey, I'm guilty of that. I voted for Obama because he was black. I had a vote. He was the only black candidate. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna waste the vote. They said don't waste your vote. But
in 08, I did vote for.
Yeah,
for
I just I was
almost
nobody else to vote for. Yeah, but and so like I know most of us hold Bill Cosby near and dear to our heart. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. I mean, I don't really think it's too many people in my age group who didn't grow up with seeing Bill Cosby on the television in some shape, form, or fashion. Or even if you didn't watch the Cosby Show, you probably watched A Different World or something. You were influenced by the mind of Cosby, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But this is long before he was accused of these things. So I don't know what all is in the mind of Cosby. But I feel like, man, you can't have blind loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he did it. I mean, and part of me feels like I don't give a fuck if he did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to be insensitive to any potential victim. But when I say I don't give a fuck if he did it, it's more so saying it still doesn't change the contributions that he has for Black America. You know what I'm saying? Does it change my view of him as a person? Sure it does. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if a pedophile helps me build a house brick by brick, and then he gets locked up, am I going to tear down the house and sit there and say, I don't want this house because a pedophile touched these bricks? It's like, you know, I can acknowledge that person's contribution to my existence to a point. But at the same time, I may not cut for him, or, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
based on the facts, you know, which there aren't very many, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Not in favor of the accusers, no.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What you would think with so many accusers that there would be a multitude of facts, but apparently there is not. A lot of damage has been done to the man's character, you know what I'm saying? Maybe rightfully so, I don't know. But at the same time, man, I just can't rock with the blind loyalty just saying, hey, you know, why would they wait so long to say something if he raped them and all this? Or why did they stay quiet for so long? I mean, you know, I think that's the wrong point of view to have. I think that to an extent makes us like the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? To have that such self-centered view and not worry about anything that could have happened to anyone else or how anyone else may have felt about something.
Yeah, I agree with that. To me, it's very interesting how in the time that we live in, the power of the media, you know, they've always been powerful. But we're seeing something like this case, which really up until, last week or the week before, it wasn't even a case because they didn't even there weren't even any charges or anything brought against him until recently, which now we're finding out that the chances of a trial are close to zero. But from that time, he's pretty much been proven guilty in the court of public opinion. And I feel like regardless of how bad the system has done people of color in history, regardless of how many times guilty people have gotten off or innocent people have been found guilty, to me, that is no reason to just say, oh, well, if, you know, because you hear Woody Allen, you hear Stephen Collins, and
Charlie Sheen.
So these are names that you hear a lot, you know, of why isn't the media focusing on them, or, you know, that kind of thing, which I think is a valid question. But I don't think it should be asked in the sense of, well, if Woody and Stephen and Charlie are getting away with what they did, then Bill should get away with what he did. Like, no. If either one of them are guilty of what they did, which a few of them we know that they are, then they should have the book thrown at them, you know, without exception. So,
I mean, and this is crazy because the charges against Cosby, first of all, I think this just puts a spotlight on just how inept our judicial system is. Because, if I'm not mistaken, is it in the state of Pennsylvania? There were some pending charges, and they decided not to move forward with the charges, or are they the ones that are moving forward with the charges? Because I know it was charges in California, and there were charges in Pennsylvania. One state decided we're not going to move forward. The other state decided that they would. You know what I'm saying? Charges are pretty much identical.
and the first one, yeah, and I'm not 100% sure which state, but one of the cases that's up right now, that I guess the incident happened in 03 or 04.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's
and
the one
that was when they said
charges
that
were
there was
filed.
no evidence.
Yeah.
There was enough evidence to pursue charges, so now all of a sudden, and what I did hear is that I guess the statute of limitations is pretty much at the brink, and so it was like,
That's why
if we don't do nothing right now,
so it was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was
like, let's just, you know, let's put this bid in, because if we don't,
this is bottom time essentially.
yeah, because if we miss this opportunity, then it's done forever. So let's put the bid in. That way, if we do find something, we're good. If not, then we'll just, what's happening now is pretty much what it is, where they're pretty much saying there's not enough evidence to move forward. And
they're basically essentially saying that the evidence that they thought they had, which was the Trump card, essentially, was his testimony. But the testimony is supposed to be sealed. And now they have an email from the DA saying that the testimony cannot be used in a criminal case against him, which further, complicates things because, I try to consider myself to be a fair person, So if there's information in the testimony that is an admission of guilt, but however, based on the deal that he was offered on the civil suit side of things, it can't be used in a criminal court of law, which would essentially exonerate him of charges. It's unfortunate, definitely. It's
and that happens a lot too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's like crude analogy, man. I shop at Walmart all the time. If the cashier give me back a couple extra bucks, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I might not return the $3. You know what I'm saying? It slid through the system. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing that I caused. But at the same time, I question the whole timing of everything. You know what I'm saying? Was it because you've already gotten money? You know what I'm saying? As far as there's nothing that can be done to make a person whole. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in a fair system of making someone whole. If you lose a loved one, there's no amount of justice that's going to bring that person back. I can't make you whole. And the concept of justice it's supposed to be to make you whole. So, but it's crazy, man. I want the facts to come out, but I want my people to not have blind loyalty. I want my people to sit there and call it for what it is. I want Charlie Sheen to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? I want, if we pull in movies off networks and shows off networks, I shouldn't be seeing 2.5 Men in primetime TV with my children to watch.
Seventh Heaven.
You know what I'm saying? For real. It's crazy. But then at the same time, you have to acknowledge, man, it is a double standard system. It don't make it right. But call it out for what it is. Even like with the Oscar snubs and shit like that. It is what it is, man. I think it boils down to we got to stop seeking validation from white people.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, justice, we need to be able to handle our own. Because essentially that's what their system of justice is for, is to handle justice for white people. You know what I'm saying? To treat white people fairly and to make them whole. But it's not designed for people of color. So we also need an infrastructure in place to where we can police our own. You know what I'm saying? Because we cannot ever expect to get fair dealing.
And that's that point that you made there ties into another one that I wanted to make regarding Bill Cosby is, the whole pound cake speech that happened several years ago, and a lot of people at that time, they pretty much washed their hands of Bill Cosby because they felt like he was.
Tell them a little bit about it. Tell them a little bit about the speech, because it's been a while for a lot of people.
So yeah, it's I believe it was I can't remember what year it was. It was the early thousands is when it took place, and he was speaking at a university, which I can't recall the name. But basically, he was pretty much speaking to the black community and saying like, look, it's time for us to take responsibility for the situation, and and we are aware of a lot of what the problem is. And why we are in this problem in a system that that has catapulted this problem. So now that we've done that analysis, why are we continuing to do the same thing and expecting different results? And so he was talking about some of the language that we use, whether it's the ebonics and slang, and one thing he said, when he was a kid, that they did the corner talk, the street talk. But when they came home, when they went to school, when they went to other places, that talk stayed on the street. And I don't think that you should change who you are. Like, you should be who you are 100% of the time. But there's a time and a place for everything. And recognizing that and applying that to your life will help you tremendously. Mm-hmm. So your behavior, your speech, again, I don't think that you should, I shouldn't have to change my wardrobe because you're a racist or because you're a bigot, but being aware of that and knowing, like you said, the system is unfair. That doesn't mean that we're okay with it. We're acknowledging it. So when you know that something is like, this is how it is right now, until we can change it, you know, you have to know how to navigate through it, and I think that's what he was really getting at.
Yeah, I mean, from what I got from it is something I've been saying for years, man. You got to understand the rules of the game, and a lot of us are not successful, and we don't understand why. But it's because we're not playing the game in the manner it's expected to be played if you want to win.
Yep.
We're doing it the way that we want to do it.
We're trying to make them play our game, and we don't got enough pieces on the board to do that right now.
For real, for real. But the thing is, tough love, man. Just you never want to hear it. I mean, even like me, I use my platform. Essentially, sometimes I rub people the wrong way because I'm blunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making any excuses for me not being as considerate of another person's feelings, but at the same time, sometimes you got to care more about the message than you do how it was expressed. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. I don't know. It's one of those things, man. You got to judge people by what they've done for you or what they do, more so by the words that they say, because sometimes things get lost in context. But at the same time, nothing that he said during that speech is anything that if you applied would make your life harder. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't things that would make you less successful.
And that's to me, that's the point right there, is like, you know, what I really think was, you know, when that incident happened and the way the media took it, it was a perfect opportunity for them to take what he said, and I don't think they necessarily took it out of context as much as they twisted it and kind of changed the angle of it. And with somebody like him, with the things that he's done for the black community, whether it's through his TV, the stuff that he did in TV, or the millions of dollars that he's given to colleges and universities, and he was one of the few people of you know, black celebrities on that level that were doing things like that, like constantly. I mean, he was known to be that kind of guy. So if you can cut that guy away from the community and have the community not want anything to do with him, now that makes him more reluctant to give money, because now he knows that the people aren't appreciating it. They don't want it.
For real.
And then the situation now, it causes people to be really indifferent to his situation, because, you know, well, that's what he get for, and I've actually read posts and heard people say, but that's what he get for, you know, for calling us out. And it's like
talking down on black people.
Yeah.
And it's been some older black people, man, that like, when I say older, because I'm 35, so what I consider older is 10 to 15 years older. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. 50, the people that essentially, in my youth, I would have considered these people elders. You know what I'm saying? So even now that it's only a 15-year difference between me and someone that's 50, I still consider them an elder. You know, that's just that age group. So I see people in that age group like, yeah, I don't like the way he was talking to us. And I'm like, that's the way you should have been talking to us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for real. I mean, like, because basically he told you to get your shit together. And people don't like that. It made you uncomfortable. But that's how you know it was a message that needed to be heard, because it made you uncomfortable. It made you question what you were doing. And that's always a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, anytime that it inspires thought, it's a good thing. It just so happened that it was like granddad saying something to us that we didn't want to hear, and people got their feelings hurt because they wasn't used to him scolding us.
And that's exactly who it reminded me of when I saw it. It reminded me of something of, I mean, obviously he's the same age as my grandfather, but I took it as, you know, the grandfather, that older, you know, like you said, the elder that's just getting on you. And we know usually when people get of that age, if they aren't blunt already, they become very blunt when they hit those upper years, because they don't got time for all that foolishness. Like, sit down.
For real.
Be quiet. We don't, you know, they tired. They don't got time to go through all of this. It's like, look, this is what you're doing. Stop that. Do this. Period.
Facts over feelings at that point. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? For real. I don't got time to coddle you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not much longer I'm gonna be here.
Yep.
But, you know, I mean, and really at the end of the day, man, we as a people, what we seem to forget is anytime someone takes the time to correct you, it's because they care. You know what I'm saying? Because we live in a generation where you walk past young kids doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing all the time, but you don't say nothing because you don't care. Because you're more worried about your well-being, your livelihood. Maybe you're even scared of the kids. You don't know how they're going to react, so you don't even feel safe to even say anything to them. You know what I'm saying? But essentially, it boils down to we're very self-centered as a people. We're only worried about us. It's back to that crab in the barrel thing again. You know what I'm saying? We're only worried about us, you know, as opposed to worrying about our peers. You know, it's rough right now, bro.
Yeah, and
The responsibility part to me is very important. And I like to use the analogy of if every day when I see you, I walk up to you and I slap you in the face. Of course, you're not going to like that, right? But obviously, I don't care because I'm doing it, right? If it hurt, like if my hand hurt as much as your face did when I slapped you, I wouldn't slap you anymore. So if I'm slapping you every day, obviously it's cool with me. So whose responsibility is it to stop you from being slapped at that point? Are you going to wait for me to stop after I've shown you that I have no intention to stop slapping you? Plus, when I slap you, it puts money in my pocket because you got to go to the doctor and I get paid off of that. You know, so it's up to you. At some point, you got to say, man, I'm tired of getting slapped. This person's not going to stop slapping me. So what is it that I can do to stop them from doing this to me? Because they obviously don't care enough about my well-being and to stop on their own. So we have to get to that point as a people. And I think that's what Bill was trying to convey in that message. At some point, you may not be the blame for the situation, but at some point you have to take responsibility for it because that's the only way it's going to get resolved. You know, you may not have put the dirty dishes in the sink, but if you're tired of seeing the dishes in the sink, you either can wash them or,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, basically, it's essentially, you got every option in the world other than to complain. Because complaining ain't going to do nothing about it.
It's not going to change it.
You got to take some action.
all you're gonna do is waste time, you know, and in this day and age, you know, the information is there. I feel like our ancestors, the generation that lived through the civil rights movement and even before them, from the days of slavery to post-Civil War to the Civil Rights era, the things that they accomplished with having a fraction of the resources and rights that we have now. Like, we still got a long way to go, but we are not, you know,
I mean,
it's a huge exaggeration to say that we're in the same position that we were at that point. Because in some
really
ways we are.
To school both ways uphill. It was real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Meanwhile, we're driving to school and can't get education.
Right. You know, and Bill brought that up too, the Brown versus Board of Education. You know, so the things that they were able to accomplish back then with, you know, we talk about, you know, the police killing unarmed black people in the streets, and it's definitely happening. But it's a difference, it's slightly different from them literally snatching you up in a town of 100 people, stringing you up outside their church on Sunday morning and taking pictures and sending,
and everybody watching,
cutting off your body parts and sending it home to their family on postcards. Like, there is a difference from that, you know.
Big difference.
So,
And the things that they were able to accomplish with that being an immediate threat, like a literal, like that can happen for no reason at all. You know, we look at Emmett Till, you know what I mean? This stuff happened. My mom was alive when that happened to Emmett Till. She was young. She was almost 1 year old, a baby. But that wasn't that long ago, you know, when this stuff was happening.
At all. I mean, that's your grandmother's grandmother, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Was a peer of that age group at that time. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. What's the time looking like on an iPhone, bro?
we got 36.
Okay.
We going.
I knew it would be this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's the first time.
It ain't no big
so.
deal. Next time we could broadcast live too on the radio. You people, if we can get a time slot locked in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, man, we got a lot of information that we want to share with y'all, but we got to give it to you bit by bit. You know what I'm saying? Bit by bit. But y'all can look forward to a segment. Are we gonna commit to every week, every 2 weeks, man? I mean, because we putting it on record right now. You know.
Right?
Every week will be nice. I mean, we could do the bi-weekly, so that way,
we can make sure that way we're able to come on here and talk knowledgeably about things and really try to give a different perspective, or just something to think about, like man, I never saw it that way, or maybe I should go back and kind of dig through these sources myself instead of just clicking the share button and so that's what we're just trying to do is to
you know what, that just that hit me. There's one thing that we got to address before this. Can't wait 2 weeks. The fact checking on Facebook, because we can end poverty right now with the Powerball winnings. You know what I'm saying? Based on the amount of shares that's on that post. Because if sharing things made it factual, you know what I'm saying, then that would be considered biblical by this point. You know what I'm saying? Like no one would go against it. So I don't know if y'all have seen the meme of the erroneous mathematics concerning how the Powerball jackpot, what was it, of $1 billion at that point, or what was it?
It was like 1.5 billion.
1.5 billion, and there are allegedly 300 million people in the United States. Mm-hmm. And based on that mathematical equation, that each person in America, this means you. This is even better than what Mark Zuckerberg was offering us, right? Is this better than Mark Zuckerberg? How many of y'all got your money from Zuckerberg? I don't know, man, because some of y'all might have shared that status and came up and then left and ain't tell nobody. But according to that math, that's $4.33333 repeating $1 million for each one of us. Woo! But in actuality, it was about $4.33. So everyone could get a 4 for $4 meal from Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? So we see. So whoever came up with the meme, they was close. We can't end poverty, but we could end hunger for 30 minutes for every person in America.
You're gonna be thirsty though.
Well, no, come with a drink. Come with a drink.
You get the drink.
And ice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it'll hold you over.
So $4.33 for each American. And you know what? I would take it. I'd gladly take my $4.33. You know what I'm saying? If somebody offered me a debit for $4.33 right now, I'm not too proud to accept it.
Hey, that's 4 gallons of gas if you in Dallas. My boy just put up 99-cent gas in Dallas. What?
It's Obama's fault.
Yeah.
It's Obama's reason this gas is low. What is he thinking?
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's doing either. But keep on doing it, brother.
Keep it up.
You know what I'm saying? Keep on doing it. But you got to fact check on Facebook. Don't hit the share button. Google it before share. Google it before share. I think that's a rule that if we live by for the most part. But you can't just trust everything in Google. You got to cross-reference. But at a minimum, Google it before you share it if you can't verify it anywhere else, man.
Yeah. And you can check, Snopes?
Yeah.
That's one website that if it's something up, some new headline thing that's trending and you're not sure. It's a few other ones, but I know Snopes is one that you can usually check them and they'll usually have a thing, this is just a hoax or whatever, satire sites. It's a lot of satire sites out there.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, it's real, man. You never know, man. You never know, but hey.
Yeah.
Even the stuff you see me share on my page, man. Hey, I encourage you to do some research. Don't just believe it because you trust me, because I'll lie to you too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe intentionally.
I've been proven wrong on my own posts. I posted things and people come in the comments and say things, and I have to, and for me, I'm not.
I ain't mad at you.
I'm not afraid to say that I'm wrong. I mean, if this is my view on something and I feel like I've done the research for it and this is my opinion, you're not going to change it because But at the same time, if error is found, I'm not one of those people that'll be like, oh no, I'm not going to hear you.
The average nigga try to fight you. You find they wrong. Now they got to fight you till they're right. You know what I'm saying? That's bad advice. Don't do it.
Like, don't argue. Just propose the facts, man.
For real.
That's
for
it.
real. But,
There's no need to argue over that. Like, facts and truth stands on its own.
Exactly.
You know?
For real. It's the lie you got to keep going.
Yep.
Because if not, it doesn't exist. It's not real. Yeah, man. But we want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. I'm Deezil Greezil.
Chris Kweli.
And y'all make sure you can follow me on Facebook at Deezil Greezil. You can hit me up on Twitter at Deezil Greezil and Instagram the same. You got some social media for him, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All Chris Kweli. You can search that, and you'll find
Tell
me.
them how to spell it, man. You know they don't know how to spell it.
Chris, y'all know Chris, Kweli, Kweli. Kind of like Talib Kweli, but without the Talib, but with a Chris.
See what they did there? See what they did there? Yeah, man. But y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. That equals support. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got any topics that y'all want us to cover, feel free to inbox us, tweet us, get at us. Anything that you want our insight on. It doesn't necessarily have to wait until the next show, man. You can inbox us when we can address it right on Facebook, until we meet again.
Yep.
All right, we out.
Peace.